Hi, Shaz.
Good morning, Despina. How are you?
I'm good. What time is it in New Zealand?
11 a.m.
Okay.
We're only an hour late.
Here we are, 1 in the morning in Cyprus.
Wow.
It's,
good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning. Yeah, and good morning to you. We're going to talk today about quite a sensitive subject. It's coming to the parole of your brother.
My brother.
Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, so he was murdered and gosh, I've got to even actually look back now to remember. Anyway, he was murdered, it'll be 18 years ago now. So this February will be 19 years. And after 17 years of non-parole, we now do yearly parole hearings.
Oh my gosh.
So that's quite a big thing.
Yearly parole?
Yeah.
That must be pretty traumatic. I mean...
Yeah, well, you sort of go through, well, for me, I went through 17 years of feeling like, okay, they're locked away. And now on a yearly basis, I find I start getting quite stressed before February, particularly in the last one and this one to come up. And yeah, it is quite stressful.
I mean, the idea of prison, like they're locked away, you feel safe, and then all of a sudden you've got the parole, and do you actually see them? I mean, they're right in front of you.
No, we don't see them. We have to sit before a board, which I have to honestly say is so emotionally screws with your head. It's not funny. You've got these people with clipboards, you know, and i.e. the big prison supervisor, and then you've got the parole board guy, and then you've got like the corrections top-notch dude, and you feel like it feels like we're on trial. You know, we've got to fight our case, and then you hear about their behaviour and what they've been up to and what courses they've done during the process of the time that they've been inside. So one of them, for example, one of them is been getting into scraps and getting into heaps of trouble still, and beating people up, and so he's not actually eligible this February. Kevin is his name. So Kevin is actually eligible now in 18 months. So he'll be eligible around July. So not only this year, well, next year, in February, I will have to deal with the other offender, which is Whakanui, his parole hearing, and he's the well-behaved one. Then again, in July, I have to also go back to Wellington and deal with the other offenders' parole hearing. So I'll have 2 next year. Yeah.
And yeah, it's such an emotional time for you. And I suppose it leaks out into all areas of your life, this apprehension.
Yeah, and, you know, and I'm going to be honest about it. I have noticed, you know, I've got these, I guess they're coping mechanisms. Like, what the easiest one that I know is I like to grab the bottle and I think, oh, I'll just have a drink, you know, that'll take it away. And it doesn't. That's a really unhealthy coping mechanism that I've picked up from the murder itself, actually. And I tend to find I start getting scratchy and I start getting emotional, and the closer it comes, the more scratchy and emotional I get.
Yeah.
And yeah, I definitely build up apprehension and anxiety as the time comes closer.
Yeah.
You know, and which is hard on people around me too, because I don't really understand, you know, like what the hell is Shaz going through right now, you know? Why is she acting like such an E? But reality is. Yeah.
Can you tell me exactly what happened to your brother? Like, how was he murdered?
Yeah. So basically, Shannon, he's like 18 months younger than me. He had burnt hands, and he had burnt hands from saving someone's life. So from that time that he got the burnt hands, he couldn't do the things that he loved, which was like playing the guitar, and he loved table tennis. And his hands ended up sort of being like claws.
Okay.
So he, after the fire, which was he was up managing a hostel, and he'd gone back in to save somebody, and he'd thrown that person out into a waiting, I don't know what you call them, those big things the firefighters hold out, you know, like a trampoline. And then it was his turn to jump, and he actually got height fright, I suppose, and he didn't want to jump. So they're all yelling at him, jump, jump, and he's freaking out. He's like, he's probably about 2 or 3 stories high in this hostel, and he didn't want to jump. So he grabbed the downpipe. He tried to slide down, and the downpipe was burning hot. And obviously he let go and fell then, and they caught him. But because he grabbed them with his hands, it was so hot, they melted his hands, and his hands ended up sort of clawed, you know, like all disfigured. And his face was all burnt. And then he spent 18 months in and out of hospital having plastic surgeries and that sort of thing. And yeah, no, his hands were never the same, and he was never the same. So from that point, he didn't like being indoors anymore. So he hit the streets in Christchurch.
You know, when you identify yourself with a part of your body, it ruins everything. Like you said, he played the guitar and he played table tennis, and you know, he used his hands as a major part of his life. So it was part of his identity, and to lose that, you know, probably made him feel just it ruined everything. It ruined everything for him. And
and then he had this innate fear of being indoors, and you know, he just even when he was back in the North Island before, you know, he'd come back to the North Island, and I think my son, who's 21 now, it was his first birthday? No, just after that. But anyway, long story cut short, when he came back in, he kept opening all the doors of the house up when he was visiting me. And I couldn't quite, you know, get it. I was like, why are you opening all the doors, Shannon? And he just couldn't handle being in an enclosed space after that.
Yeah.
Which I guess was part of the trauma, and quite understandable. So yeah, he basically took to the streets and set up this little tent, which is where these 2 guys found him one night. And so they taunted him, you know, a couple of days before they killed him. And on the night that they actually came back and killed him, well, he didn't stand a chance, really. Yeah. To be honest. So he had 51 injuries from the neck down. They had planks of wood. They beat him from the neck down. 51 injuries from the neck down. And then my brother was a bit of a fighter, but they were huge, much bigger than him. They ended up finishing him off. He fought till he couldn't fight anymore, and he ended up face down on the ground. So they stabbed him in the lower back because he was still moving twice. They stabbed him twice. And then because he was still moving, that, you know, that wasn't enough for them. How dare he move and continue to fight? They jumped on the back of his head to finish him off and crushed his skull. And yeah.
It's sort of like bewilders me why people act the way they do. Like, what can cause somebody to be so violent to an innocent person?
And, yeah, and I think the thing for me is that I still haven't quite got my head around it. It's like, if he'd been owed them, not that it would justify it, but if he'd owed them money, or it was a drug deal gone wrong, or frosty, or if it was a drug deal gone wrong, or there was some kind of and I'm not calling it justification, but if there'd been like a background history, you'd understand it more. But it was simply, as they said, the homeless dude with the ugly hands.
Unreal.
Yeah, and there was no motivation. It was an absolute unprovoked attack.
Now it's a matter of, like, shit happens, right? I mean, now it's a matter of, you can't think of what if he wasn't living in the street, or what if he had support, or now it's sort of coping with the what is.
Yeah, because I did the what if for so many years. I just walked around almost like just in this fog, this like black fog, and the only way I felt that I could get out of the fog, I was drinking.
Yeah.
And at the time, at that point, it felt like it helped, but reality is it didn't help. It never helped. It just made everything so much worse.
I suppose it's that numbing feeling, but with the drinking comes the hangovers, and comes not facing reality, and it's just pushing everything under the carpet, and and then causing fights with family members because all your inhibition goes, and then people can't rely on you, and it's just opens up a whole can of worms, I suppose. I mean, that's my interpretation.
Yeah. And I didn't want people around me either. I pushed everyone away.
Yeah.
It's like, because no one really understood the pain.
Of course
I didn't
not.
understand, and that made me sort of lash out at everybody. And,
of course. I mean, the anger, like, why? I'm not that like so angry these days. I've definitely calmed down now. Good. I mean, it's a matter of just loving yourself, and for you to go through such a traumatic experience, you have managed to survive it, and the amount of experience and knowledge and empathy you have for other people going through. I mean, I know it sounds like that cloud has the silver lining, that you're such a model and mentor for other people that are going through something like that. I mean, now that the 17, 18 years have passed, you could see yourself.
I'm about to embark on a mission I never ever thought I would do, and a couple of friends of mine who, I'm going to say they're like parents to me, Jackie and Doug, they go into the prisons and minister. And I've been chatting with them, and I'm thinking very seriously that might be something that I might do. Don't ask me why, but I have a feeling that I would be quite good at it. So I'm seriously thinking about that at the moment, because they'd be wonderful people to train under. I'm not even really sure why I want to do it, but I think it's a calling.
It's definitely it's God calling you with all your experience, and it maybe to go to the other side of those people that are victims of victims of victims. I mean, those people may have been abused, violently, abused physically or sexually or manipulated, or, everyone's story is, everyone has their own story. And maybe your brother may be watching from above, and you're the selected one to actually administer these people and bring them back to our Father. And your brother's it's sort of telling you to do this in his memory.
Yeah, it's a touchy subject at the moment, I suppose, but I'm sort of like, I'm going to get myself ready for the next hearing. We've got one that is genuinely remorseful, and I believe he's remorseful. Not that it changes what he did at the time, but we've also got the other one who's not remorseful, which is a concern for me. He's still beating people up and getting in the shit, and so he's the one that the parole hearing's been extended because of his bad behaviour in prison. So, there are all those, I don't know, concerns, I guess. I'd hate to see someone else get hurt.
In the prisons, are there like psychologists that, that rehabilitate them and give them like vocational skills or something?
Yeah, there are, but it's like with every prison. The sad thing is, it's something I learned at parole. The sad thing is that they don't actually do the rehabilitation from day one. They literally do it when they're about to be eligible for parole. So you might have a prisoner in prison, he might, and for example, let's just say Pakanoi and Kevin, they've been in prison for 19 years, but their rehabilitation with the prison started at 17 years.
My word, so word.
Yeah.
That
exactly.
sucks.
So to me, there's so many flaws in the prison system that I believe should be changed. The rehabilitation should be starting from the day they arrive at prison, not when they're starting to be eligible for parole, because then of course they're going to do the courses because they want to get out. But have they actually been rehabilitated, which is our biggest argument as a family? How much rehabilitation have they really had, and are they going to be able to control their anger this time when another situation arises, and as some, and are they going to be able to control their anger? Have they been rehabilitated, and will they continue to beat someone to death because they're angry?
I mean, I'm sorry, it's for me, rehabilitation should start, like you said, with, going into their childhood from day one, understanding their behavior, plucking out the negative things that they've done, understanding why they did it, making amends, apologizing, going through the process of maybe learning a new skill, becoming a better version of themselves. And so they're able to face the real world. But right at the end, right when they're parolers, what are they going to learn?
Exactly. So there's so many things, that I feel need to be changed within the prison systems, where the people that have offended violently, they need rehabilitation and counselling and everything else that comes with it from the moment they arrive, not right at the end.
I mean, they're just...
Because have they been rehabilitated? No. But the government, it's just the system that they're just not rehabilitated, most of them. And it's, it's bad, really.
They're just acting out what they know. I mean, they've been programmed by their caregivers, if they had that. I mean, probably, I don't know if they had parents or who brought them up. I mean, what life did they live? And they're just acting out what they know, so that really their behavior has to change.
Yeah, we've got one that actually came from a really, really good family, believe it or not. and he's the one that's showing some remorse. And then we've got the other one that came from a let's just say a more rougher, harder background, and he shows no remorse. The two of them aren't friends anymore, obviously. And we've had, this can be in another live maybe, but I have actually had a meeting with one of the offenders face to face.
Wow.
But that I think we'll talk about another day, because that was quite emotionally, geez, yeah.
And like, do you feel sorry for him? Were you angry with him? What was it like?
Yeah, that's probably as I said, we'll probably need to be another live. We'll do another live on that one, because that's quite intense. And it was at the time very, very emotionally conflicting, as to whether or not I was doing the right thing for my brother, because I felt torn. Am I going against my brother's memory by meeting one of the guys for a restorative justice conference? So yeah. But I did do it. That was a good 10 years ago. So which goes to show, he was looking for some kind of, he wanted to say sorry early on into it.
Wow.
But, can anyone really ever say sorry for beating up and killing one of your family members?
I just admire your what you've learned through this. I mean, your ability to even want to minister, and so like I said, the lesson in this has been amazing, like what you've gone through and how you've come out the other side, and letting go of the drinking too, because that's one way of coping, but no, it's not. That opens up a whole
whole new can of worms. And I mean, that's not fully perfect yet, but in saying that, I'm definitely not in that mental state where anything that goes wrong, I reach for the bottle.
No.
And I don't care. People can sit back and they can judge me if they like, but try living through what I've lived through and see how well you cope. Because I have had a lot of judgment over the years, and but I know within myself that every day I get stronger, and every day I get better, and every day I reach for the bottle less.
You go through weeks and weeks without having a drink. It's not as bad as you're making out. It's not as bad as...
it's not as bad as what I was back then, that's for sure.
No.
Gosh, whiskey was my best friend. I don't even touch it now, so...
You're not, definitely not as bad as what you... So what advice could you give somebody who is actually facing this now?
Wow. I mean, I'd love to say go to a counsellor and that will all fix it all, but it won't. The only advice that I could truly give to someone is just roll with the emotions, roll with the pain, and you've got to go through that pain in order to heal, and talk to someone, talk to a friend. And don't be scared to cry. I don't know what the advice could be. It's just definitely reach out to a friend.
I think a lot of people beat themselves up, like, why didn't I do that? I could have been that, blah blah blah. But it's not like that. I mean, I think we've all got our contracts here on earth, and when our time's up, we were sort of assigned a certain amount of times before we came here, and and so we should just accept that the time is up. This is my, and there's no what if, and I mean, be kind to you, be kind, that don't beat yourself up, because
be careful who you hang around.
Oh yeah.
maybe that's the advice I'd give people is be careful who you hang around, select your friends wisely.
Yeah.
Because the ones that are going to pull you in and say, "I'll just get wasted and fuck it," don't deal with the issues. Yeah, don't do that. Be around people that are going to constructively help you to face your grief in a constructive way rather than a destructive way.
And I think God as well. God is a big one. I mean, asking for the Lord Jesus Christ to sort of carry that burden for you.
Yeah, although in the beginning, I've got to admit, I was too angry with God.
Yeah, fair enough.
Poor God.
Well, I mean, he yelled out on the cross. He was questioning his sentence on the cross. And so if he did it, I mean, how could you not do it? You know, it's totally normal. You know, that's, I mean, I think we've got to move away from fear into faith.
Absolutely. That's what's got me through now, and it's like it's the faith and my trust in God.
Yeah.
That now I'm actually starting to begin the healing process, which is really good.
You're coming into Shaz. You're coming into you. Whoa! Bring it on, home girl. Bring it on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you so much for your time and sharing with us such an emotional time. And God is great.
Problem.
God is great. God is great.
Yeah, absolutely. And when the time comes, maybe we'll go live from Wellington before parole, and I can share that journey with everyone. It'd be quite nice to share it with people instead of having to do it all alone, you know. You can get some sleep now, Despina.
Yeah, we're looking at 1:30 in the morning, so it's time. Yeah. So.
Oh, well, I hope everyone enjoyed this indeed to begin, and I hope in some way this might help someone else.
Definitely. It has been, you know, it's been really, really helpful. And thank you. God bless you.
Cheers, sweet.
Keep well.
Kia kaha.
Kia kaha.
Kia kaha.
Bye, my babe.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Bye.